Fallout 76 can be described as nothing but a complete failure by Bethesda and for Bethesda. The game is being slammed by critics and more importantly by the gaming community. The Fallout fanbase, the group that Bethesda was hoping would embrace this game despite its undeniable issues, seems to be the most vocally against Fallout 76 and for good reasons. Even the loyal defenders of Fallout 4 are finding a hard time damage controlling for the dumpster fire of Fallout 76 this time around. If we take a look at the user scores on Metacritic, the only site with actual user scores since Bethesda chose to keep this game off Steam to prevent both user reviews and refunds. Funny how that works. But if we take a look at the user reviews, they are nothing short of terrible. The highest is a 2.9 for the PC version. Even the critics, it seems like, have come to their senses this time around with Fallout 76 with a overall score of 55, and that's the highest among the three platforms that it's on. Both the Xbox and PlayStation version of the game have a much lower critic score than the PC version's 55. Now, reviews mean absolutely nothing if people are still buying the game, but in this case, it looks like people are simply not buying it. Fallout 76 sold considerably less than Fallout 4 at launch in the UK. Taking a look at this article, the latest sales data for the UK for the past week is in, confirming that Fallout 76 sold considerably less than Fallout 4 at launch, despite the game debuting on the 3rd spot of the weekly all formats chart. The online entry in the series sold 82.4% less than Fallout 4 at launch. Only retail sales are tracked, but it's unlikely that things are much different counting digital sales. Sure, digital sales might alter this figure slightly, but I highly doubt that it's much different. To further prove this, we've already seen Fallout 76 drop as low as $40, $35, or even $30 at some retailers and digital distributors such as Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, PSN, Xbox Live, and even Bethesda, lowering the price of the digital PC version to $40. I mean, can anyone actually think of a time where a game as big as Fallout had a new entry come out and within a week it's already dropped in price by 50%? Because I can't fucking remember anything like this, and that just proves how bad this game fucking bombed. Now, I know that buying day one always results in you paying the highest price possible, but Bethesda is literally spitting in the face of their consumers by lowering the price a week after the game released just because it flopped, while only selling the game on PC on their digital distribution platform to prevent refunds. Also, on the topic of refunds, apparently Todd Howard was caught once again in one of his sweet little lies regarding that very subject. At one point, Bethesda was in fact offering refunds for Fallout 76 and promised it to a Reddit user by the name of ZP Kane. He provided 2 emails from Bethesda, one in which he was told refunds were not available at the moment, but would be very soon, and his would be processed soon. This is what the first email says. Greetings. Thank you for contacting the Bethesda customer support team. Unfortunately, we do not have the ability to begin processing that refund for you right at this moment. There is nothing to worry about though. We'll begin processing the refund as soon as we can, and we'll reach out to you via email to let you know once we've started that process. Thank you for your continued interest and support. Warm regards, Bethesda customer support. I love that little warm regards at the end. From reading this email though, it sounds like he would be getting a refund. They basically said, like, we can't do it at this moment, but as soon as we can, we'll get your refund processed and we'll let you know once that process starts. So a little while after that, ZP Kane received a second response from Bethesda support contradicting the first. Greetings, thank you for contacting the Bethesda support team. Customers who have downloaded the game are not eligible for a refund. We apologize for the inconvenience. If there is anything we can do to assist you with this, please reply to this email for further assistance. Thank you for your patience. Kind regards, Bethesda support. So looking into why ZP Kane wanted a refund, it was because the game ran terribly on his PC and he could not connect to his friends online, aka the game was a buggy, broken Bethesda mess. That seems like a more than reasonable reason to request a refund, but according to Bethesda, if you download the game, you cannot get a refund. Let that sink in. If you download the game, you cannot get a refund. How the fuck are you supposed to know the game even works works if you can't download it. But anyway, that's beside the point. They basically told him, yes, your refund will be processed, and then immediately after they go, oh yeah, sorry, no refund, you know, we don't do that if you download the game. So you can see why they kept it off of Steam though, because if this game was on Steam, you could very easily tell that this game was a buggy, broken piece of shit within the 2 hours that Steam allots for you to apply for a refund. And I guarantee you this would probably be one of the most refunded games in Steam's history, probably up there with No Man's Sky, because Bethesda knew this game was broken, and that's why they chose to keep it off Steam. Honestly, if Bethesda had decided to advertise and sell this game for what it is, a very early access Fallout 4 multiplayer mod, I think a lot of this criticism and controversy surrounding the game would have been avoided. Maybe charge around $30 for it originally, and I think a lot of people would have been willing to actually give it a shot, maybe play it in its earlier stages, give some suggestions on how they could improve the game over at Bethesda, and I think overall the sentiment towards Fallout 76 would be a lot more positive by the community. But instead, Bethesda chose to market this as a true AAA $60 Fallout experience, which by no definition is this game even close to that. In fact, Fallout 4 surpasses Fallout 76 in every single regard, with the exception of the multiplayer aspect of Fallout 76. I actually went and purchased Fallout 76 at launch just to see how bad the game was going to be for myself, and I was definitely not disappointed. I knew exactly what I was getting into from the very beginning, so I don't feel burned or anything having spent money on the game, but basically my assumptions leading up to the release were confirmed. Given the, let's say, reputation of Bethesda games on launch, I already was not expecting much, but when you combine that typical kind of Bethesda bugginess with a multiplayer server, I knew this was going to be one hell of a train wreck, and I just had to be a part of it. So as you can imagine, there are bugs on an epic scale as to be expected. I'll have a link in the description to this really awesome compilation video, and I really thought it was hilarious, so go check that out. I will have it linked in the description if you want to see some funny ass bugs for yourself. But even then, just take away the bugs for a second, this game overall does not perform well. The game is capped at 63 FPS on PC because apparently the frame rate affects your in-game movement speed. I have no fucking clue how that even works, but Bethesda basically capped the frame rate instead of fixing their fucking engine. So originally when I booted up Fallout 76 for the first time, I could not even get my frame rate to go above 38 FPS on even the low setting. Keep in mind my PC has a 1080 Ti and an i7-8700K. So running Fallout 76 should have been very simple at 63 FPS at 1080p, okay? Especially on low, like that was the fucking weird thing. Like I was getting more frames on ultra than I was on low. I think when I put it on low, it would go down to like 31 or 32, and then when I put it on ultra, it would go up to 38, and that's how fucking stupid Bethesda's game engine is. Anyway, I had to go into the files of the game, change a few things there, and I had to change some stuff in my NVIDIA control panel. Not a big deal, but I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, it's a real pain in the ass, and I mean, that's just to get the game to run at the capped 63 frames per second. But even then, for random reasons, I would encounter frame drops to the mid-30s that would persist for upwards of 20 seconds or so. My PC should have no problem whatsoever with a game like Fallout 76 running at 63 frames per second at 1080p considering my specs, and on top of that, the game just looks fucking terrible. Like somehow Bethesda managed to take Fallout 4 assets and make them look worse 3 years later, even on PC at Ultra. Textures, the environments, the enemies all look like they were taken off the base Xbox One or PS4 version and are unacceptable for a 2018 game running on Ultra settings on a PC. Fallout 4 looks so much better in almost every single aspect, and given that Fallout 76 is literally just Fallout 4 assets dumbed down, it feels like, I mean, there's no reason why the frame rate should be dipping this much on my more than capable PC that could absolutely destroy Fallout 4 if I was trying to play that. But I mean, it's just unacceptable, the performance that you're getting even with a capped frame rate. So overall though, let's just put the performance to the side. Once we get to the game that is actually Fallout 76, the world just feels dead. The lack of NPCs that typically inhabit a world like that of other Bethesda games that gives you that sense of immersion and purpose behind the actions that you're actually doing is completely missing in this. Fallout 76 has you running errands and fetch quests for computer terminals. The world is just dead, and the enemies you encounter every once in a while alleviate it a little bit, but they're extremely generic and get old very quickly. In the first 4 hours, I collected water, cooked a ribeye steak, picked up items from dead bodies, and found a computer computer terminal on the other side of the map. Those are main story quests in Fallout 76. It's just monotonous fetch quest after fetch quest that you expect to be the typical side activities in other Bethesda games. On top of that, there's no real story to get you invested in doing these repetitive quests over and over again. It could be that the story is buried in the pages and pages of text found in computer terminals, but I can't be bothered to read a damn book to get a story while I'm trying to play a game. The only real positives I can say are that the overall gameplay is good for the most part, and also multiplayer interactions sometimes are just funny as fuck. Like when you run into a group of people, you're talking mad shit, you try to beat the fuck out of each other, like those moments are really awesome. They don't happen all the time, most people kind of just stick to themselves, but those moments are really cool. But with that all said, I think that's why Fallout 76 can only be described as a failure. The idea behind this game had so much potential. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to my friends or just thought to myself, like, how fucking awesome would it be to have a game like Fallout or Elder Scrolls and have that be co-op? Like, how cool would it be to just go around doing a bunch of quests with your friends? And that was the idea behind Fallout 76. It's just Bethesda did not execute this game properly. Instead, we got a buggy, broken, and boring game on release that really was in no form that should ever have been released as a $60 AAA game and marketed as such. That's the problem, I think. If Bethesda had taken a different approach, which I think should have been the approach they went with from the beginning, and say, hey, this is an early access game, we want Fallout 76 to be the best it can possibly be, and because of that, we want you to start playing as quickly as possible so you can help shape this game in the future by providing your feedback, and we will make the appropriate changes so we can make Fallout 76 the best experience possible that you're going to want to play. And I think they would have won a lot of people over with that. Maybe charge $30 for the game up front instead of $60 and try to get people involved, get the community involved, let their feedback shape the future of the game. And I think Fallout 76 could have been something truly special, but instead Bethesda chose to go the cash grab route. They wanted to milk the Fallout name in time for the holiday season, to get those Black Friday sales, to get the Christmas sales, everything like that. And as a result, it completely backfired on them. Fallout 76 bombed critically, and the sales are 82.4% lower than Fallout 4. That is a substantial hit, and there is no doubt that Bethesda is in full panic mode right now, and they have done irreparable harm in terms of their relations with the Fallout community. I mean, gamers do not forget shit like this, and the only thing I can say to Bethesda is, like, was it really worth trying to get that quick, easy cash grab to the point where this backfired so badly on you that it is going to do irreparable harm to your reputation among gamers? So I don't know, like, Fallout 76, I'm glad to see it's failing. I picked the game up just to see how bad it was, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on Fallout 76 in the comments section below. As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.